on here. In the chat box, if you want to put your name in there, that would be awesome, just so I can see who's on. Welcome to those of you who are just coming in. This is Finding Calm in the Midst of Disaster. And welcome to all of you. I see more names popping up here. Please throw your name in the chat box so I can see who's on if you're willing to do that. We're just going to wait a few more minutes here while people finish signing in. I see a few people are. If for some reason you're having trouble, just refresh your browser. Sometimes when it goes from wait time to live, it has to refresh. So if you're having an issue, just refresh your browser there quickly. Hi. I see a few more are still signing on here, so we're just going to give it a minute while people get on and get in here. If you want to put your name in the chat box there for me to see who's on, that's great. I'd love to say hello. I see names popping up here, so we'll just give it another second before we get started. Many of you I have not met before, and looking forward to meeting some of you. I'm Linda. I'm Linda Easthouse from Easthouse Natural Health Center, and I just wanted to do this webinar today to send out some good vibes and some help and some relaxation to all of you involved in the Fort Mac fire and evacuation. I know it has been an extremely stressful time for you. In no way comparing what we went through in the flood in 2013, but we were evacuated and our house was flooded, and yeah, it's not nice, even for that kind of much less terrifying evacuation where we had, a little bit of notice, and we certainly weren't in danger of being swept up in fire like you guys were. Just the little bit that we went through tells me how stressed you guys really are. And we want to be able to help you this little bit here. All right, I think we're going to officially start here. I see quite a few names popped up there, and it looks like that's most of the group that I was expecting. We've got somewhere around 30, 40 people on, which is wonderful. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm a natural health therapist. My job is to help people deal with their stress, whether that stress is emotional or mental or physical or whatever kind of stress. And so I'd like to equip you today with some stress reduction exercises that you can do for yourself, that you can do with your family, that you can use to help calm yourself down. If you're now in a safe place, wonderful. If you're still in the process of finding a safe place and sort of running from shelter to here or there, you need it even more. So we're glad you took the time to join us today. And if you're watching this on replay, no worries, you will get everything through the replay. You're not missing a thing. Please feel free to watch this replay a couple of times if you want to, and just keep doing the exercises over and over. Every day will help you even more. With stress, what happens is when your fight or flight goes off, which it should have in this situation, it was correct for your fight or flight to really go off big in this case, and in which case most of you had to take to flight. The way our system is designed is that after the initial emergency is over, then your body is supposed to calm back down. You're supposed to go back into a state of homeostasis and begin to relax, and your body recovers. Because in the fight or flight, all of the blood in the frontal cortex of the brain gets pushed out into the arms. All of the blood from the stomach and digestive system gets pushed into the legs so that you can actually run or fight or do whatever you need to do. And then that is supposed to, after the initial emergency, calm down, return the blood back to your stomach, return the blood back to your brain. But what happens when you have, it doesn't ever get that chance to calm down, and you go from one stress to the next stress to the next stress, and your body stays in the fight or flight. When you stay in fight or flight, you develop all kinds of physical as well as emotional problems that prevent you from sort of regaining your calm. The brain stays in fight or flight mode, and it makes thinking more difficult. It literally slows down your ability to process information, which right now, while you're having to make all kinds of decisions, is not what you need. You need to be able to use your brain clearly. So we want to shut off that fight or flight now that the initial reaction is over, the initial event is over. We need to shut off that fight or flight and let you work in a different way. Often when your fight or flight stays on, the adrenaline stays running, which means you're not sleeping well. You're already in a new bed, in a new place, in a noisy room with lots of people if you're in a shelter or in one of the evacuation centers. And to be able to bring yourself to a calm where you can sleep is critical to you getting through this period. So the first thing I want to do right now is walk through a relaxation exercise for you that you can do 10 to 15 minutes every day that will really help shut off that fight or flight. One of the major things that the fight or flight response does, aside from running adrenaline through your system along with about 200 other chemicals, is it activates the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve actually starts at the sort of the base of your skull, comes down, winds through your whole core here, affecting all, touching, connecting to all of the major organs. When your vagus nerve kicks into high gear, everything goes on to alert. It shuts down the essential services of your body with the exception of breathing and heartbeat. And it lowers your liver capacity, lowers your spleen capacity, lowers your digestive capacity. All these things happen because the vagus nerve is highly activated and keeps you in this fight or flight because it thinks you're still under threat. Although the threat is no longer physical, now the threat is emotional, and so it just keeps going and keeps going. We want to calm that vagus nerve down. We want to turn it back into the parasympathetic, which will allow you to relax. So we're going to do a body relaxation technique. At the end of the webinar, there will be an email where you can just give me a quick note, and I will email it out to you in a written form so that you can work your way through it whenever you want. We're going to do it together now, and then you can get it to do whenever you want. We all hold our stress differently. For some people, it will be in the chest. You'll have breathing difficulties. For some people, it will be in the gut. You'll have digestive issues. For some people, it will be in the neck. You'll get headache issues. For some people, it will be in the shoulders. You'll get that real tenseness. For some people, in the back, all kinds of pain. Everybody stores their stress differently. What we want to do is let go of that stress. We need to tell the body it's okay to release it. We need to get it out of the cells, get it out of the muscles, and let you significantly change the way your body responds to the environment around you. So pull up a comfy chair, preferably shut off your phone for 15 minutes, hopefully for the whole course of the webinar here, but when you're doing this on your own, 10 to 15 minutes. Take off your watch or set a timer. Put it where you can see it without being too, it's best if you can set it on a timer, use your phone or whatever, so you don't have to think about, oh, what time is it? Just you go until the timer goes. That's the easiest way to do it. So find yourself a comfortable position. You might want to lay down, you might want to sit down, whatever is a comfortable position for you, as relaxed as you can be. Now, take a deep breath. And allow your body to settle into the chair or into the couch or onto your mat, onto the floor, into your car seat, wherever you are. Just let your body settle into it. Let it kind of melt into the chair and be in full contact with it. Feel yourself supported and held up by the chair rather than just sitting on it. So as you let everything relax and come into more contact with whatever you're on, feel its support, feel it holding you up as opposed to you just sitting or lying on it. Take another deep breath and just settle some more. And just feel yourself held by whatever you're sitting on till you just kind of melt right into it. Imagine a blob of butter sitting on a plate, and in the sun and the heat, it just melts right down into the container that holds it. That's how you want your muscles to feel. Now, starting at your feet, slowly scan up all of your body, all the way to the top of your head, and notice where you're holding your stress. Notice where you feel tenseness or tightness. And just to take a moment and kind of observe all the way from your feet to your head where you're holding your tightness, where you're holding your tenseness. Now focus on your breath. Pay attention to how you're breathing, how quickly or deeply you breathe. It's not about controlling your breath, it's simply about noticing it. It's about paying attention to it and seeing what it's doing. A little curiosity, attention onto your breathing. And begin to inhale through the nose and lightly out through the mouth. You don't want to force your breathing or make it slow down or make it long or held out. Just notice it and breathe normally in and out. Relax your jaw. Let go of those muscles that are holding your mouth closed. As you're breathing, try to get your breath deep down into your belly. Don't want to breathe from up in the upper chest, so your shoulders shouldn't be going up and down, but your belly should be going in and out. Proper breathing is the diaphragm pulling down and pulling air into the lungs and then pushing it back up. Just notice your breathing. Relax your jaw and your throat. Relax your tongue and your mouth. Sign of stress is that your tongue's tight and high up in the mouth. Just let it fall down into the bottom. As you become aware of your breathing, pay attention to where your body moves with each breath and where it may be stuck or not moving. As you breathe, oxygen should flood out to all of your muscles, down your arms, down your torso, down your legs, into your feet. Notice where it feels like it's not going there. Notice where it feels stuck. And as you breathe, simply put your attention there. And let your body send more oxygen, more breath to that area. Feel your body absorb the oxygen from each inhalation. As you breathe out, feel the blood releasing stress and toxins into the lungs and pushing them out. You can imagine or picture the oxygen going down through the body, picking up the oxidized cells, the stressed cells, bringing it back and exchanging it out through the lungs. That's what our lungs do. They take in fresh oxygen and exchange out old stuff. Let the breathing and the oxygen flow through your whole body. And notice where it's feeling less tense. Look for another tense area and push it into there. Let the breathing and the flow of oxygen relax your whole body. until you can feel it go all the way down to your feet and back. Breathing in, bringing that fresh oxygen in all the way down to your toes. Breathing out, letting all the stress and old toxins out. Anywhere you find tenseness, anywhere you still feel tight, just send extra oxygen into there. Simply put your attention on it. And as you breathe, let the oxygen flow to that area until it clears everything out. Just notice you're breathing in all that oxygen. If your brain still feels tense and foggy, lots of oxygen up into the brain, let it come out. Respiration through the lungs is to take energy in, take oxygen in, run it through the body, and send the toxins back out. Stress creates toxins at many levels in our body, oxidizes many cells. Sending the oxygen in will help clear all that out. The muscles will relax, the tendons will relax, all of your organs will relax. Most importantly, the vagus nerve will relax. Just gently breathing in and out, sending oxygen through your whole system. Finding the tense spots, putting your attention there and letting the oxygen clear them out. When you're doing this on your own, you can do it for as long as it takes to clear all that out. Do it as long as you need. 10 to 15 minutes a day is a really good way to just shut down all that stress. But now just taking 3 very deep breaths in, fill your lungs as far as you can, and then push out all the stress that's left. Empty your lungs right down until you feel like there's nothing left in them. And again. And one more. So how does that feel? Hopefully that's allowed you to get a lot of the physical muscles to relax, the physical organs to relax. The second thing I want to teach you is the thymus tap. The thymus tap is a way to get the various different systems of our body working together. The thymus is a gland that sits right underneath the big breastbone at the top of your chest. If you follow the collarbone down to the middle, there's that notch right in the middle of your collarbone, and just below it there's this big bony plate. And underneath that plate is your thymus gland. The thymus gland is the master gland for your immune system. It's the one that kind of tells the rest of your immune system what to do and when to do it. But it's also part of the system that coordinates all of the other systems in the body. So your emotional system, your digestive system, your immune system, your respiratory system is kind of the one that gets them all to talk to each other and work together. And what happens when it gets overstressed, it just kind of shuts down and does nothing. So the way we wake it up, the way we tell it to get back to work, the way we tell it to calm down and do something is we simply tap it. And to tap it, take your right hand and put it on your chest as if you were saluting, if you were an American, salute the flag sort of thing, or just put your right hand on your chest. That should be just at the top of your heart. So your fingers will be just at the top of the heart. And what you're going to do is go up and away from the heart area and make a circle about 4 inches, the width of your hand approximately, in diameter, starting just at the base of the notch and ending 4 inches below that, just above the breasts. And you're simply going to tap firmly in a counterclockwise circle. You know you're going counterclockwise when you start from the heart and go up and away. So you're starting on the left side, going up to the notch in the thymus, and then making a circle around there, about a 4-inch diameter circle across the thymus. And you want to tap firmly and gently, but firmly. You want to hear the thump, thump, thump. I use 3 fingers. You can use 2 fingers, 2 or 3 fingers, and you simply want to thump that. It's called the thymus tap because we're tapping around the thymus. But what it does is it wakes up our thymus and says, hey, the meridian system, the energy system, the breathing system, the heart system all need to work together here. Can you pay attention to do your job? And you can simply tap until you sigh or yawn or feel some kind of a response in your body where it suddenly sort of goes, oh, okay, here, I'm at work now, and get your body kind of working together better. If you're dehydrated, it will take longer. So one of the big things in keeping your stress levels under control is water. Not tea, not coffee, not pop, not juice, water. Why? Because water doesn't have any caffeine or sugar in it, both of which suppress your immune system, suppress your meridian system, suppress your energy system, and make the body work harder. So those things are all fine in moderation. I'm not saying don't have them, but do have lots of this with them. So if you haven't had a drink of water, or if you're feeling even slightly dehydrated, have some water. Water will help you get your body into balance, help the immune system, help the thymus work more efficiently. Now this tap is really good whenever you're feeling stressed, whenever you're feeling that panic feeling like your brain is not clear, you can't quite control things. Tap. You can do this inobtrusively anywhere. You can be sitting in a restaurant and do this quietly. You can be sitting in your car and do this. You can be standing, talking to somebody at a counter and just kind of put one hand over and tap with the other. It's be amazing what this little tap will do to help calm you down, center you, balance you. So don't forget the thymus tap. And generally you'll get a deep breath or a sigh or some indication that, or you'll simply feel suddenly that you kind of like come together. That's what it's supposed to do. The first few times you do it, it might take 30 seconds to a minute or even 2 minutes to really kind of get your body to pull itself together. That's a very simple little one to do. You can teach kids to do it. All they have to learn is hand on the chest, up and away. Some people like to just rub like this in a circle. That will work, but it takes longer. The actual tapping, the vibration gets down through the bone faster, more efficiently into the thymus gland if you actually tap. And fairly firmly, not too gently. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to leave bruises. But on the other hand, you do want to create enough vibration to get through that big, heavy breastbone plate there. So that's the thymus tapping. Always water. The next one that I want to show you is the emotional stress release. This one also, there is a handout that you can email me and I will be happy to send to you. Linda@easthousecenter.com. At the end of the webinar, there will be that on the screen for you, so it's easy to find. Just let me know and I'll be happy to send it out to you. The ESR is emotional stress relief. So ESR, emotional stress relief. As we were talking earlier about the fight or flight that goes on in the brain, one of the quickest ways to sort of shut down that fight or flight is to actually hold some of the acupressure points on the head. This is a correction that comes out of acupuncture. You don't need to use needles. You can do it with your own fingers. It's not one where you're going to rub or push hard. It's simply contact with the fingers. The fingers will be enough to stimulate the acupuncture points and tell them what to do. So what you're going to do is from your eye, go straight back just inside the hairline. If you feel here, there's actually a tendon here and a tendon just in front of the ear. And if you go in between those two tendons, and you're going to put your thumb there. And the same thing on the other side. So straight back from the eye. It's not really in front of the ear. It's a little above. It's kind of just right at the very top of the ear there where the ear connects to the body. So you're going to put your thumbs on both sides there. Then you're going to take your pinky fingers and put them here. What we want is halfway between the hairline and the eyebrow, directly above the middle of the eyeball. So it's not in the middle. It's not, you want to get out above your eyeballs and go up halfway between the hairline and the eyebrows. And for most people, you will feel there's kind of a little ridge just above it. You want to be just below that ridge. Many people, you can actually feel little tiny indents in your skull there. So you're going to take your little fingers and put them there while you have your thumbs back here by the ears. And then you're going to take your elbows up and forward, and the soft spot on the top of the head, you're going to put either your middle fingers or your index fingers, whatever's most comfortable for you there, and put them on that soft spot. The other fingers you can just kind of hold out of the way. And you're simply going to hold these points while you think about what's stressing you. And what it does is these points are a combination that tells the brain, shut down fight or flight. It basically says to the brain, whatever you're thinking about does not need a fight or flight response, stop it. And the brain will shut off the fight or flight, return the blood flow to the brain, and allow you to think more clearly. This isn't going to solve or resolve the stress that you have or the stress that you're thinking about, but it will allow you to deal with it differently, because suddenly you won't be in the fight or flight with the adrenaline running, with the blood all rushing out of your brain into your arms, into your hands, into your legs. It allows the blood flow to return to its normal flow in the brain and allows you to think more clearly and make choices more clearly. So choose one stress. Right now, if you were to choose your whole big ball of stress, it might take you an hour to hold those points and calm them all down. So choose one stress. Preferably not your biggest stress, simply because we do want to get through this in an hour. And we have other things to do. So choose one stress that you can focus on, and let's do that. So thumbs back from the eyes, little fingers, careful that they don't slide in here because it's the tendency. Keep them out above the eyes, and the index fingers on the top. So you're simply going to be in that position. And again, it's not pressure. It's just contact with the skin. That's all you need, is to contact the skin. And then you're going to sit there and think about whatever's stressing you, that one stress for now, until you feel that shift happen. Now, for many people, it's more comfortable if they put their elbows down on something and put your elbows forward, and you can lean on a desk, lean on a chair. If you're laying down, you put your elbows out, whatever's really comfortable for you. And simply holding those points while you think about it. You can close your eyes and just let yourself explore your stress and feel the body turn it off. And hold your points. If you want to turn your fingers down, you can, so that they fit more comfortably there. Often at the beginning, you won't feel anything under your fingers, but as you just observe what's under your fingers, remember, don't touch, don't push, just touch. As you observe what goes on under your fingers as you're thinking, you'll feel it pulsing and bouncing around, and you'll feel different things going on. That's all fine. That's the brain rearranging the blood flow and the meridian flow. Just let it all happen. That's a good thing. When it's done, when you're less stressed, when the stress is kind of moved through, you'll find that often under each finger, it will pulse, just a slight pulse, kind of like a blood pulse, but those aren't points where the blood is. Those are meridian points, and it'll be the energy pulse. They'll all pulse together evenly and smoothly. That's what you're looking for. If you don't feel the pulse, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It'll still do its job. And as the stress leaves, you might sigh or yawn or feel a deep breath, some indication that the body has switched the stress off. often as you release the stress out of that thought, the thought just kind of disappears and you forget what you were thinking about. That's a good sign that it's done. So if you're having a hard time focusing on that stress anymore, then it's done. There is a video on the ESR on my resource page that's free that you can go there and watch it anytime as well. As don't forget to get the handout later to remind yourself to use this. We often teach it to kids. It's a very, very good one for kids. We tell them, put your helmets on. We have them put their hands like this across their head. It will get all of the necessary points. They don't have to worry about being exactly the right point. So we'll just tell kids, put your helmets on. And they'll do this, and whatever they're stressed about will just calm down and go away. It's great for kids in school who are getting stressed and need a self-calming technique. Simply let the teachers know that if they do this, it's because they're calming themselves, and just let them do it for a minute or two, and they'll be able to return to the classroom in a much better space. So that's the emotional stress relief, another tool that you can use to calm yourself, get yourself out of the fight or flight, bring yourself back to a place where you can think more clearly, where you can respond more appropriately. Be happy to share those in the written form with anybody who emails me for them. The next technique that I want to teach you is the 4-7-8 breathing. This comes out of traditional Chinese medicine. It's often used in Ayurvedic medicine as well. It comes originally, I presume, probably from yoga, maybe, I don't know, because both Chinese and Indian traditions use this, so it's an ancient process. It's most often popularized through yoga, but it works from both traditions. It's a breathing technique that, again, works on that vagus nerve, the one that tends to keep you all balled up in a knot. It's the one that has trouble turning off and going back into its relaxed form. So when you're feeling really stressed, when you feel like on the verge of a panic attack, when you're feeling a lot of anxiety, then 4-7-8 is all you have to remember. And do 4-7-8. It's 4 counts in. Now, ideally, you want to get to the point where it's 4 seconds in. At the beginning, you just count at whatever speed you can maintain it at. And with practice and time, you'll get it to where you can slow it down to 4 seconds. We're just going to start with counts at this point. So 4 counts in. You want to fill your lungs as deep as you can, like really suck the air in there. Then you're going to hold for 7 counts. Then you're going to slowly exhale it out for 8 counts. So it's 4 in, as deep as you can, 7 hold, and 8 out slowly. And that is a particular rhythm of breathing that will slow the vagus nerve down, return it to its calm, relaxed state, and allow your whole intestinal core, your whole physical core, your intestines, your breathing, your heart, to return to a much more relaxed state. So it works wonders. However, you have to practice it. It's not something that you just do once and be done. You want to train your body to turn off the vagus nerve by doing the breathing. And so whether or not you're feeling anxious or nervous or panicked, at least twice a day, morning and evening, practice it. And then when you need it, it'll be available and ready and just kick in rapidly. You're going to do the 4-7-8 4 times. So 4 in, 7 hold, 8 out. Repeat that 4 times. Now, when you're in that kind of a state, trying to remember breathing in, counting, it can get very confusing. Use your fingers. So we're going to go through it. We're going to practice it a couple of times. We're going to let you do it a couple of times. Practice using your fingers so that you can keep track of where you are. Because believe me, when you're already panicked or already in anxiety, trying to remember, oh, I'm breathing in. Oh, how long was that? Trying to count with your brain while you're still trying to remember to breathe in and out, just use your fingers. It's the easiest. So I'm going to breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How's that feel? Hopefully that's not too hard to follow. Takes a little practice at the beginning. That's normal. Hopefully it's making your core relax. You should be able to feel right down through the middle here that it's relaxing things, that it's getting oxygen in there, that it's affecting all the different organs. We're going to try it again. It shouldn't leave you breathless, but we're going to slow it down a little bit this time. So instead of just counting kind of the quick numbers the way we did there, we're going to get it sort of half seconds. We won't push it all the way out to a second each, because unless you've done this for a little time, when you're highly stressed, it can be a little difficult to get to hold that long and to push out for that long when you're not used to it. So we're going to slow it down just a wee little bit, but I want to keep you practicing. Do want to do it one more time. You will often feel that your blood circulation increases. It will often cause you to feel warmer. You'll start to feel your brain actually, in many people explain as their brain turns on as they've done it a few times after they get through the second set of them or the third set of them. So let's do it again, just to give you some more practice, and we'll slow it down a little bit again. So I'll continue to count, but I want you to practice with your fingers so you kind of get used to it. So in, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where I messed up the numbers on that one, but you got it. All right. So that 4, 7, 8 breathing, remember, you can do that anywhere, standing in a bank line, standing in a evacuation center line, wherever you end up, sitting in your car in traffic, wherever you need to calm yourself down, we need to turn off the panic, turn off the anxiety, do the breathing. It's very simple, very straightforward, easy to use. Just takes practice. So practice in the morning, practice at night, so that when you need to do it, you can just do it. Your body will get used to the deep in, the hold, and the long out. Practice in the morning, practice at night, do it whenever you need it. Right, so those are 4 things that you can do on your own whenever you need to do them. Some of them you need to be practicing every day just to give your body a break. That relaxation exercise, 10 to 15 minutes every day, gives your body a break, a chance to settle, calm, and make you deal with life a lot more easily. The thymus tapping, wake up and get going. The ESR, the emotional stress relief whenever you're feeling worried. For those of you who don't know if you've lost your homes, for those of you who do know that you've lost your homes, for those of you who are terribly concerned about your pets, this is a good way to allow yourself to deal with it in a more reasonable way without going into the panic mode, without getting distraught over it. You need to be able to think clearly, to make plans, to make choices, to make decisions. The ESR is a wonderful way to help you take the edge off. It's kind of like if you have a pressure cooker and you take the little steam thing and you open it up and let some of the steam out. It releases the pressure and allows things to be more normal. It's exactly what this is doing for you. It's taking the pressure off and allowing you to approach it from a less stressed position. And do the breathing. Those will all help you. Aside from that, we have a few minutes, so I would like to actually do one of the health kinesiology corrections with you. Health kinesiology is one of the methods, one of the kinds of therapy that I do here in my office. Very useful for turning off stress. Again, we use the meridian points. I'll tell you what points to hold. You can hold them. I'll tell you what words to think and think them. And as you think the words, it will simply shut down the stress related to that and allow you to deal with it in a different way. So the first one, we're going to use the BioFlow today. And the first one we are going to do is, where are we working from? Let's see, do the kidney 27s. And where's the other one? From the kidney 27s to not 0, not governing central. Kidney to central, is that the best thing we can do? And central is the endpoints 1 to 10, 10 to 15, 15, 20. Kidney 27 and central 18, those are acupuncture points that we're just going to use fingers on. Don't need needles. Fingers work just fine for activating the points. And we'll work out the thought that's going to go with this. So the thought is related to the stress that you're feeling right now to enable you to deal with the essentials of life where you are right now and enable you to regain your center and a sense of calm and function during the stressful periods. So what word do we want? Are we using a single word? Yes. Not those, not those. Those. I have a list of common stress words here. We're just working off the list here to pick out which one is, for all of you who are on the call, which are the most important ones. From there up, from there to there, from there to there, from there to there. One of those words in there. Peace. That's a very good word. Peace is something that you all need, we're absolutely sure. So kidney 27s, if you follow your collarbone down to the notch where you have the V at the middle here, if you get on the little knobby spots and then go down about an inch or an inch and a half, you'll find there's 2 little soft spots between the bones, between the first bone and the second bone, and right there on the kidney. So your fingers will be about 3 inches apart, like that. On the soft spots, about an inch to an inch and a half below the collarbone knobbies by the V there. You just go straight down. You're looking for this. If you go too far out, if you're 4 or 5 inches out, there's another set out there. That's a different set. We want the ones that are only about 3 inches apart, just on sort of either side of the thymus there. And again, it's just touch. You don't need to push. You don't need to rub. It's not anything except just contact. So you're going to lightly touch your finger onto the spots. That's all you need there. The second one we want is central 18, which is the heart chakra. So if you go and take your hand and just sort of point to yourself and say me, wherever your hand goes when you say me, that's usually the right spot for your heart chakra. That's kind of just a natural reaction. So if you're not sure, the heart chakra is just kind of right in the middle there. You can take a whole hand and put it across, and then you're absolutely in the right spot. Or you can put a couple of fingers there if you want. You don't have to be really specific on that one. So you're going to hold those points and simply think about peace. You can simply repeat the word if you want to, and say it over and over in your head. You can think about what peace would feel like. You can go find a peaceful place, a place in your memory that was very peaceful, maybe on a beach or in a forest when it was lovely, climbing a mountain, somewhere that's very peaceful to you, and simply let your body return to that state of peace while you hold these points. The point is to turn off the stressful things around that by using these points. So we're simply giving the body instructions to say that thought of peace shouldn't set off the stress response. So thinking peace. If you feel flutters or pulses or tightness or whatever's going on there, please just let it all happen, let it pass, let it go. Don't do anything to stop it. Don't block it. We want it to just run. Let the body release it in however way it feels. If you feel panicked for a few minutes, that's okay. Just keep holding the points, keep thinking peace, and it will calm itself down. Once the body sorts out the channels and gets that worked out, it'll all come back together you'll feel fine. Excuse me. It's normal that as the body comes into sync with that, you'll sigh or you'll yawn or you'll feel suddenly it's just kind of, okay, you got there. We'll just give it another minute here for those of you who are still struggling with it. That feels pretty good for most of you. Testing pretty strong for most of you there. Good. And we have one more to do there. The second one that we're going to do is energy going to come from not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not small intestine, heart, going to not 0, not governing. Heart using endpoints at 1, 9. So we're using the heart 9 point and the governing using endpoints at 1 at 27. All right, and what's the word we're going to use? Using a word? Yes, a single word with that one as well. So let's see which word you want out of that. Grief. Grief. As you go through the process of grief, which you are all going through, which you will go through for some time, we need to be able to process the grief appropriately. And that means you need to be able to let go of the stress around the grief so you can actually deal with the grief itself. And some of the best ways to deal with the grief are to be able to talk about the past, talk about your home, talk about the things that are lost, talk about the unknown. That grief needs to come out in some way. And when you're highly stressed about grieving, then you tend to block it and hold it in and prevent it from following its normal course. So we want to remove the stress around grief so that you can process the grief appropriately. To do that, we're going to hold the heart 9 points, which if you look at your finger, you come up the outside of your hand to that base of your finger on your hand, and you're going to take your thumb and stick it on that. And the same thing on the other one here. You stick your thumb just right across the whole nail there is fine. You're going to hold those ones, and then you're going to hold governing 27, which is the end of the governing vessel that comes up over your head, down your nose, and ends just above the lips in that little dip there. So you're going to hold those little fingers and that spot there, and you're going to think about grief. And if tears fly, that's just fine. What we want to do is turn off the stress around the grieving process so that you can grieve appropriately. Wherever it takes you is fine, just let it happen. There are many aspects to grief, and you may need to revisit this one a few times. If another aspect of grief comes up and it's really stressing you out, come back to this, just hold it again, do it some more. The different aspects will pass through. complete and robust. Good. I think that is good for most of you there for now. Again, please feel free to hold those same points. Think about that some more when other parts of your grief surface. It's not that you shouldn't grieve. It's that you must grieve. And to do that, you need to remove the stress reaction that will allow you to actually access your grief and bring it up and deal with it appropriately. So when you're feeling like you're stuck, like you can't cry, you can't talk, you can't get it out, then go back to this. That combination, thinking about grief, will help open up that channel and allow you to move forward in a different way. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad to be able to do this for you. Please feel free to contact me if you have questions. Be sure to email me and get your relaxation exercise and the written form of the emotional stress release, so you can do that whenever you want. Check out my website, because there is a section, if you go to resources, self-help videos, there's a whole bunch of very short videos there of different activities and exercises, techniques that you can do to help yourself. I want to give you the tools to take care of yourselves appropriately. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to meeting some of you. And please feel free to share the replay with anyone that you'd like. The replay will be up probably by tomorrow morning. It'll get emailed out to those of you who were actually on the call today. You'll get it automatically through your email, through your registration. And feel free to share the link with anyone. It's not a restricted link in that sense. Thanks again, and may you move forward in peace. And may you deal with your grief appropriately. May you find the care and concern and help that you need to rebuild your lives, to rebuild the city, to rebuild Fort Mac and all of the people related to that. Blessings on you. Thank you.